Hello, and welcome to the New York State Office of General Services Concur training video. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can book for air, car, and hotel all in one ticket. Before we begin, just to make you aware, all travelers and arrangers must follow their agency's travel authorization policies and procedures prior to making travel arrangements. For information on travel authorization procedures, travelers and arrangers should check with their agency finance office or other appropriate authorities. So before we start with the Travel Wizard, what I'd like for you to point out to you are a couple numbers on the company notes page. To access the company notes page in the center right here in the bottom right hand corner, just click on Read More and just scroll down towards the bottom of the screen. On the screen right there's a couple numbers I just want to point out to you. Travel agency contact during normal business hours. We have a local number and a toll-free number and an email address. Here's an after-hours number if you need to contact an agent for emergency purposes between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. Eastern Time, along with on the weekends. And then also for technical support, feel free to contact us online at dt.com or call us at 1-800-999-7939. So as I scroll up to the top of the page, what you're looking at, this is the home page right here. If you are a travel arranger and you need to book travel for someone else, what you would need to do is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you see Profile. When you click on Profile, what you want to do is type in the traveler's name here in the field and then click Apply, and then you may book travel for that person. But for this demonstration, I'm going to book travel as I'm booking travel for myself. So over on the left, under Trip Search, this is what we call the Travel Wizard. And to book for air, car, and hotel all on one ticket, you want to make sure that the left tab is actually highlighted. So underneath the air/rail search, we have our choice of booking for round trip, one way, or multi-segment. But for this demonstration, we're going to keep it to round trip. So the first two fields below is your departure city and your arrival city. So say I'm flying out of Albany, New York, and I know the three-letter code for the airport there, which is ALB. When I type in ALB, Albany Airport pops up on the screen, and I need just to left-click it. Now say I'm flying to Atlanta, Georgia, and I do not know the three-letter code to Atlanta, Georgia's airport there. All I need to do is type in the city where I want to fly into. The airports will pop up and choose the airport that I just want to fly into by left-clicking it. Underneath that, this is where we put our departure and return dates and times. The very first field on the left is where we put in our dates. So all you need to do is click on the field, and when you do that, a calendar will appear, which is very easy to navigate with the arrows at the top. So I want to say I want to fly out August 17th. So when I click on August 17th, if you notice my return date has me coming back the next day. I can very easily change that by left-clicking once again on the field, and I can come back the same day if I want to, or even come back on a future date. The next field over to the right is a drop-down box where I can schedule a flight leaving from a particular airport or even arriving at a particular airport at a time. But for this demonstration, we're going to keep it on depart. The next field over in the drop-down box, this is the time, which you can very simply choose by clicking on the drop-down box and choosing whatever time you need. And then finally, the last field over is a drop-down box. You see a plus or minus 3. What this does is it'll bring back results, in this case, 3 hours prior to the time on the left and 3 hours after the time on the left. So it's going to give me a 6 a.m. to noon window. I can actually narrow my results by making the number less or increase my results by making the number higher. But for this demonstration, we're going to keep it to plus or minus 3. Underneath the return date, if you notice, there's a couple check boxes here. The first one is to pick up a drop-off car at the airport, and I do want a rental car, so I just left-click the check box. And then to find a hotel, so I want to left-click the check box there, and watch what happens when I do that. There is some additional information that is needed. Right now, it's already defaulted to find hotels within a 5-mile radius, in this case, of the center of the city of Atlanta, Georgia. I can make the 5 as low as 1 or as high as 99. For this demonstration, we're going to keep it at 5. And then for where to start looking from, it's already, like I said, defaulted to Atlanta, Georgia. I can even change this to make it a specific address or even the airport where I'm flying into. And for this demonstration, we're going to keep on the airport where I'm flying into. Underneath that, If I want Concur to find a hotel with a particular name, I can just click the checkbox there and say if I want to have only Hilton hotels show up, I can do that here. But for this demonstration, I'm going to actually uncheck this. And then finally, underneath, search flights by. It's already defaulted to schedule. If you want to search flights by price, just click on the radio button to the left. But for this demonstration, I know with all of the travelers, they like to schedule their flights around their meetings. So we're going to keep it to search by schedule. Once I have entered all my parameters in the Travel Wizard, the next thing I want to do is click on the search button. So the very first page Concur takes me to is going to be the air results page. So in the air results page, I just want to point out a couple things before I show you the results. On the left-hand side of the screen, this is what's called a trip summary. Concur is going to take you step by step through the booking process all the way down to finalized trip. So as you go through the booking process, just keep your eye on the left-hand side of the screen. So at the very top, it says traveling from Albany, New York to Atlanta, Georgia, Monday, August 17th to Thursday, August 20th. But say you get to this page and you say to yourself, you know, I made a mistake. Actually, I need to fly in Sunday, August 16th rather than Monday, August 17th. So instead of hitting the back browser bar, which a lot of people usually do, if you scroll down to the left-hand side of the screen here, if you notice here it says Change Flight Search. And here in this box right here looks like the Travel Wizard, where I can change whatever I need to change, where I'm flying from, where I'm flying to, dates, times, or even my window of flight results. And then all I need to do is click on search and then the screen will refresh. So as you start the booking process, do not use the back browser button. It could mess up your booking process. And we have these fields also on the car results page and the hotel results page. A couple other things I want to show you on the left-hand side. First of all, this first field right here, this is what we call the time slide. So right now it's showing departure flights from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. I can actually even narrow my search by moving the time slide. And if you notice on the right-hand side, everything changes in real time. So I'm going to put this back. If I scroll down a little bit more, you see something here on the left-hand side called Connecting Air Filters. You know, I'm flying from Albany, New York, all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. There really is no reason for me to go to maybe Dayton, Ohio, or even Cincinnati, Ohio. I can actually uncheck any of these boxes here to narrow my search for the connecting flights. So scrolling back up to the top of the page, at the very top, you know, this is what we call the flight matrix. In the flight matrix, all the airlines are at the top, and the results are down below, and all the results for each airline is below that. Right below the flight matrix, we actually have something here called baggage fee policy fees. Feel free to click on that, and it will show you how much each airline does charge for their bags that you will bring. Underneath that, this is where we have the tabs. As you remember, we asked the Concur to look by shop by schedule. We can actually click on shop by fares if we choose to, and it'll list them right here. All the way to the right, you could do the sorted by low to high, high to low, earliest to latest, whatever you need. Just to point out something real quick, I know some people do fly Southwest Airlines, and I just want to show you real quick. If you do choose Southwest Airlines to choose your flight, we're not going to do the whole process with Southwest Airlines, but just very quickly, when you click on fares, Southwest Airlines, you have to choose the fares you want. As you can see, it's already defaulted to the Want a Getaway fare. If this is what you want, all you need to do is click on the select button in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to go back to Shop by Schedule. And when I shop by schedule, say for instance, I want to fly Delta Airlines. I'm a huge Delta Airline flyer. So all I need to do is click on the airline that I want, and only Delta Airlines in this case will show up down below. So for this very first one here, I'm going to choose this very first flight, and for my because right now I'm on my outbound tab, and these are all my outbound flights. So I'm going to click on the radio button. When I click on the radio button for this flight, two things happen. First of all, the flight that I've chosen comes up to the top of the screen in a box called Chosen Carriers. The second thing that happens is now my return tab is highlighted, and now this shows all my return flights. So I just want to choose this one right here. So at the very top of the screen, I have my outbound and my return. And the next thing I want to do in the bottom left-hand corner of the box, I want to click on Price These Options. When I click on Price These Options, Concur will actually combine my outbound and return into one ticket in a box called Compare List. And then what Concur will then do is show any cheaper flights down below. So say I do want this flight, but if you notice the button is yellow, unlike the Southwest flight before we had the button was green. When the button is yellow, if I click on this fares button right here, first of all, it's giving me a choice between non-refundable and refundable. And it's yellow because I'm breaking a travel policy rule where the airfare is greater than the least logical airfare plus $50. But I really want this flight. I really need this flight. So what all I need to do in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, I need to click on Select. When I click on Select, in this case, since I am breaking a travel policy violation, the travel policy violation window pops up. And in this box right here, what I need to do is, right underneath the travel policy violation, there's a drop-down box where I need to choose the reason why I am choosing this flight. And then what I need to do is here, in this case, you need to put a reason why, but for this demonstration, I'm just putting down test. And it's just getting logged for reports. This will not stop you from completing the booking process at all. So once you click Save, it will continue with the booking process. So after I clicked on Save, Concur will then take me to my Review and Reserve page. So this is my Review and Reserve flight page where I just need to review my flights one last time. In the center here, it says Frequent Traveler Program. And if I had a Delta Flyer number in my profile, it will show up automatically right here in the drop-down box. But since I didn't put one in there, nothing's showing up. But to add one, instead of going back to my profile, I can very simply click on Add a Program. This window will appear, and actually this is where I can put in my frequent traveler programs for my air, rail, car, or hotel. All the carriers are in alphabetical order, but the more popular ones are at the top. So in this case here, let's say I want to put in my Delta 1, and I'll put in my fake Delta number. And then I click Save. When I click on Save, it will do two things. First of all, it will apply the number to the trip I'm currently taking, as you see here. And the second thing it does, it actually saves in my profile for future use. So scrolling down a little bit more, there's reviewing the prices. It does give you an option for seat selection here, but I'll show you a better place where you can do that. And then to select a method of payment, we're going to use the test Visa for this demonstration, but the credit card that you'll use for your flights will show up automatically. Underneath that, it says this is a non-refundable ticket that comes up for all non-refundable tickets. And then if everything looks good, I just click on the red button to reserve flight and continue. So Concur right now is saving my flight information, but nothing's being ticketed yet. Nothing gets ticketed until the end of the booking process. So the next page Concur is going to take me to will be my car results page. So this is the car results page right here. If you notice on the left-hand side, for the flight has been reserved, and now we're in the next section for select a car. A couple other things on the left-hand side I do want to show you. So far, Concur will has given me a total estimated cost for my air. Here's my change car search if I need to change anything. You do not have to worry about your date and time. Concur has already synced this up with the flight that you've chosen on the previous page. If you want to choose a car, to find a car, rental car rather, from off an airport property, all you need to do is click on the radio button here, click on search, and a window will appear. You can put in the parameters that you need. Scrolling down a little bit more, we have a couple filters here. If you're looking for cars with unlimited miles, air conditioning, hybrid, automatic, or manual, feel free to use any of these filters right here. So scrolling back up to the top of the page, the only vendors you can choose from for a rental car is for Hertz, Enterprise, and National. If you choose a car for intermediate or higher, if you notice the select buttons down below are yellow, where if you choose a car of this nature, you will need to choose a reason why you've chosen this car from the drop-down box. And of course, type in a reason here. But for this demonstration, we're going to keep it to, say, let's get a compact car. And the compact car, all I need to do is say if I want this enterprise car right here, if I just click on the box in the center, this particular car will show up down below. All I need to do is click on the select button. And then what Concur will do so on this page right here, just like for air, I need to review, make sure everything is what needs to happen. In the rental car agency program, if I had one in here, it would show it up. If not, I can just add it. Gives me to review the price summary right here. And then if everything looks good, I click on reserve car and continue. So now, right now, Concur is saving my car information. And then the next page it'll take you to will be the hotel results page. So I'm going to the hotel results page. Before I get there, it takes me to the hotel per diem locations. This is just to make sure I'm going to the right place. I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia. My lodging rate for the hotel per diem is $135 a night. And if that looks good, then I click next. So the hotel results page is a little different. Instead of a matrix like we had in the air and the car results page, we actually have a map. If you remember, we're looking for a hotel around the airport, and the center location is located here by the red teardrop, and all the following locations around it are the hotels, and every number corresponds to the hotel listed down below. Before we go on the right-hand side, just a couple things on the left-hand side. Once again, the trip summary. We've already, of course, reserved the flight and our car, and now we're selecting the hotel section. If we scroll down a little bit more, it gives me a total estimated cost for the air and the car. Once again, change search. If I need to change my search for my hotel, I can put that information right here and click on the search button. I can look for a hotel in a particular neighborhood if I want to with this filter. Also, I can look for a particular hotel chain. Say, for instance, I want to stay at a Courtyard. All I need to do is click on the checkbox here, and only Courtyard show up on the right-hand side. I also can find a hotel, if I want to look for a hotel that serves breakfast or even that has a business center or a fitness center, I can check any of these boxes on the left-hand side to narrow my search on the right. So looking at the map right here, once again, right below the map, right now everything's sorted by price to low. I can sort this any way I want, high to low, rating, distance, policy, most compliant, or even least compliant. But we'll keep it high to low for now. And scrolling down, these are all the list of the hotels. And say, for instance, I want to stay in, say, the Holiday Inn Express. So what I want to do is over to the right, right below the price, I want to click on Choose Room. When I click on Choose Room, it gives me a variety of prices from lowest to highest. And if you notice here, also as I scroll down, there's a couple things here that say ABC Global. That is Direct Travel's corporate discount to you. And if you notice, everything's in green. But if you scroll down a little bit higher, we go to the hotel per diem, where the price is more than that. And if you notice, once again, it is yellow. And if I click on the radio button here, it says hotel rate is greater than the government per diem rate plus $1. And if you choose this room, if you click select, once again, you would have to choose a reason why, and then finally type in your reason here and click Save. But for this demonstration, I'm going to choose the state government ID required rate room. When I click on the radio button, all I need to do is click on Select. When I click on Select, it takes me to the Review Reserve Hotel page, where I just need to review everything one last time. Once again, if I had a hotel program, I can just put that right in here if it's not in the drop-down list. Gives me the price per night and then the total cost. And then the credit card that will be used to reserve the room. And underneath that, if you notice, you'll see a checkbox where it says, I agree to the hotel rate rules, restrictions, and cancellation policy. If I forget to click on the checkbox and click on the reserve hotel and continue, a window will pop up and it states that please indicate that you have read the rules by checking I agree. So before you do check on I agree, you want to take a look at the cancellation policy for each hotel. So to do that, just click on the cancellation policy link. A window will appear. And in this case here, it can cancel after 1,800 hours on August 17th, the day I'm checking in, or I forfeit the first night's stay. Please be very careful and read this information. Some hotels even go up to 24 hours, even 48 hours of cancellation policy. So it's very important that you do read this. So since I do agree to this, I'm going to click on the checkbox and then click on Reserve Hotel and continue. So right now, Concur is saving my hotel information, And then the next page will take me will be the travel details page. So the travel details page looks a lot like an itinerary. Everything will be in order from return flight to car to hotel, then finally your return flight home. I'm sorry, your departure flight first, car, hotel, and then return flight home. So if you notice on the left-hand side of the trip summary, we are in the finalized trip section where there are 3 final steps. So right now we are in the review travel details. The number one thing I hear from a lot of travelers are they look at this itinerary and they think it's an itinerary where what they'll do is they'll either email it or print it to themselves, and then what they'll do is they'll then go to their profile and actually sign out. If you do that, you'll get an email immediately stating that you have an unfinished trip. If you do not finish the trip, your trip will cancel by the end of business day. So this is not the place where you want to do that. Do not worry about printing or emailing an itinerary to yourself. You'll get one automatically at the end of the booking process. This is the page right here. You need to review everything one last time to make sure everything looks good. This is also the page where you can make any cancellations or additions. If you notice on the right-hand side, if you forgot to add a car or hotel, you can click any of these icons right here. Starting at the very top in the trip overview, we have the trip name, which the trip name is Trip from Albany to Atlanta. I can change this if I want to by clicking on the edit button, but there must be something in the field. Here's my start date, my end date, created by William Never, who is me today, my agency record locator, passenger is William Never, and then my total estimated cost. Scrolling down a little bit, if you want to purchase GoGo Wi-Fi, you may do that. It does give you the option to do that. So we come to the very first flight, which is my departure flight. And in my departure flight, in the upper right-hand corner, I can cancel all air if I want to, or even change the flight parameters. Also, this is a place where I can change my seat. If you notice, my seat is 28E, which is confirmed. To change my seat, all I need to do is click on the link. When I do that, a window will appear, and it'll give me a map of the plane. In the map of the plane, if you notice, my seat is right here, which is signified by a check mark and a yellow box. For available seats, all the seats that are light blue are available seats. Any seat that has an X through it is occupied. Any seat with a dark blue background is preferential seating. And any seat that looks like a grid in the background, that's the exit row. So say, for instance, I want to move up to the front, a little bit further up on the plane, and I want to hit the seat right here, which is 21C. All I need to do is just left-click on the seat that I want, and in the upper right-hand corner of the window, I need to click on the button that says Change Seat. When I click on Change Seat, the screen will refresh. Then I click on Close, and then if you notice, my seat has changed to 21C requested, and I can do that with any second on my flight. So scrolling down a little bit more, here's my rental car information, where once again, the upper right-hand corner, I can change and cancel. My hotel reservation, which once again, I can change and cancel in the upper right-hand corner. And right below that, if I forgot to, once again, forgot a car or hotel, I can click on any of these icons right here. And then finally down below, my return flight home, where I can change, cancel all air, and of course change my seats on any segment of my flight. So as I scroll down a little bit more further down the page, it gives me my total estimated cost. And it says, ticket not yet issued, airfare quote and itinerary is not guaranteed until the tickets are issued. So that's why we need to complete the booking process. If everything looks good, the next thing I want to do is click Next. So when I click on Next, it takes me to the trip booking information page. If you notice on the left-hand side under the trip summary, I'm in the Enter Trip Information. So once again, the trip name, it's Trip from Albany to Atlanta. If I want to change this, I can just highlight it and change whatever I need. Once again, there must be something here. For trip description, this is an optional field. You can put something here if you want to, but if you don't want to, that's okay. You may leave it blank. Underneath the trip name, it says Comments to Travel Agent. This is a great place, say for instance, if you have an unused ticket and you want to use it for the trip. Just put in the information here for the agent to receive. When Concur sends this information over to Direct Travel, it will go to a special queue, and then the agent will retrieve it and apply your unused ticket towards the trip. This is a great place also if you have any kind of medical condition that they need to know or any kind of special needs. Please put this information here in the comments for travel agent. But this is an optional field. If you have nothing to put in here, you do not need to put anything in there. Over to the right, send a copy of the confirmation to. If you are a traveler, this is where you can put in additional email addresses. But if you're the traveler, you do not need to put in your email address in here. Concur will take that email address from your profile and email everything automatically. If you are a travel arranger booking travel for someone else, you do not need to put in your email address in here, nor the traveler's email address. Both of you will receive all confirmations and invoices. This section right here is where, for instance, if you're booking travel and you want your spouse to have a copy of the itinerary, you can put in their email address here. If you're meeting someone at your destination, you can put in their email address here. But if not, you can just leave this blank. Right underneath that, with my email confirmation, right now it's already defaulted to not include directions to hotels with email. You can change that if you want to include directions or even include directions and maps. Underneath that, it says you may hold this reservation until June 6th at 11:55 p.m. Eastern. What this does is, say for instance, you get to this page and you say to yourself, you know, I don't know if I need to take this trip or not, but I do not want to lose everything that I've done so far. So instead of hitting the cancel button, you can click on hold trip. What this will do is Concur will hold your trip until the next day at 11:55 p.m. And it's the next day, not the next business day. So if you do this on a Friday, it will only hold your trip until Saturday at 11:55 p.m. So also what this does is it does hold your seats for your air, your car, and hotel, but it does not guarantee the price. As you know, prices can change at any time for air, car, and hotel. So once again, it does reserve your seat, but it does not guarantee the price. And we're going to come right back to this page to show you what it looks like when you do hold a trip. But say, for instance, right now, everything looks great. All I need to do is click on Next. So when I click on Next, it takes me to my final page, which is my trip confirmation page. And if you notice on the left-hand side under Trip Summary, Submit Trip Confirmation. This looks a lot like the travel details page. The only difference is there's nowhere on here to make changes or cancellations. So all you need to do is take a look through your itinerary, and then if everything looks good, at the very bottom of the screen, on the right-hand side, you want to click on Purchase Ticket. When you click on Purchase Ticket, the booking process is complete. What will happen is, as soon as you do click on Purchase Ticket, you will receive an email immediately with this itinerary stating that you've actually completed the booking process. What then happens is the information is then sent to Direct Travel's ticketing agents to their GDS system, and it'll go through a variety of queues to go through the ticketing process. Once it goes through the ticketing process, you will receive a second email with a link to with an itinerary to your invoice with your exact charges. So once again, when you click on Purchase Ticket, the first email is the confirmation that you've completed the booking process. The second email is the invoice of all your exact charges. And that is the end of the booking process. So right now I want to show you what it looks like to hold a trip. So I'm at the trip booking information page, and all I need to do is click on the Hold Trip button. When I click on the Hold Trip button, Concur will save all my information within their system, and it'll take me to the page showing me my itinerary. It does say finished, but nothing's been ticketed yet. So all I need to do is scroll at the bottom of the screen and click on Return to Travel Center. When I click on Return to Travel Center, it'll take me back to my home page. If you remember, this page looked like this with the company notes, but instead it defaulted to the Upcoming Trips tab. And if you notice in my Upcoming Trips tab, here's my trip from Albany to Atlanta. The status is on hold by user. Trip will automatically be canceled on June 6, 11:55 p.m. So if I do absolutely nothing between now and 11:55 p.m. tomorrow, my trip will cancel automatically, and I'll receive an email stating that my trip has been canceled. If I get to this page, I know I do not need to take the trip. I can very simply click on Cancel Trip here on the right-hand side. But say, for instance, if I do need to take the trip, to go back and finish the booking process, what I would need to do is click on the trip name. When I left click on the trip name, it will take me back to the travel details page. Remember the page where I can make all the changes? Then I click on Next. It will take me to the trip booking information page, and then click Next once again to the trip confirmation page, scroll to the bottom of the page, and then click on Purchase Ticket. When I do that, when I come back to this page here, it'll have my trip name, and the status will be confirmed. Once it goes through the ticketing process and I receive the invoice, the status will then get changed to ticketed. And that is the whole trip process. A couple other things I want to show you real quickly. First of all, each traveler will get their own trip library. To go to your trip library at the top of your screen, click on Trip Library. And when your trip library, it will actually hold all of your present, coming up trips and also all your past trips. And this is your own database. There's no expiration on any of these trips. So say, for instance, you're flying back to Atlanta and you want to go back to that hotel and you forgot the name of it. All you would need to do is click on your trip name. The itinerary will pop up of your whole trip, and you can find out the name of your hotel. One last thing I want to show you. This is the Tools tab. On the Tools tab, we have a variety of things that you can take a look at, things that you may need, such as travel maps, weather, currency converter. We also have U.S. passport services. When you click on any of these links, it will take you to the page where you need to go. Another great example is, say, foreign travel warnings. If there's any travel warnings, you can take a look right here. So these are little simple tools right here that you can click on, take you to the page where it takes you, and you can read up on anything that you need. So this is the end of the booking process. Very quickly, one last thing. Just remember, on the company notes page at the bottom of the page, if you have any questions about anything about your existing travel or even the Concur website, feel free to contact the numbers right here that are located on the bottom of the page in your company notes.